morning and welcome to my very first video. My name's Helen and I have my own website which is called pandapops.com, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. This part of this very first video that I'm doing, and it is my first video, so please excuse any mistakes that I make because there will be probably lots. I'm going to be using some of our new online exclusives that are coming out in March. This one is She's the Greatest, and it's a great stamp set for all our female relatives and even your favourite human. And it is, you know, it's great. It's got some of the some really nice things that you're the best, for the coolest, if you're a pet mum or mom, a plant mum. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's a really nice set to have, and I think that's currently around about £23 on the Stampin' Up website. We also, underneath here is the online exclusive Botanical Textures 12x12 Designer Series paper, DSP, and I'm going to be using a series of colours. So I have today Berry Burst, Granny Apple Green, what's this one, Fresh Freesia, and also Garden Green. And I'm going to be colouring in some of the leaves on here, lifting them up, and I'm going to be using a couple of the stamps, the floral stamps from here, just to create something different. And I'm actually going to be using the Stampin' Up Bright markers. They're water based, so you can use them on the stamps. It's a really good thing to do, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Right, okay, so let's get started. I've not prepared anything. This is just all from new. So the first thing I'm going to do is put this to one side, take my green pens, and I'm going to do a little bit of colouring. Okay, so which ones am I going to use today? So there's quite a few really nice leaves on here that I think I might start using. So let's have a look. Let's start with this one. So I'm going to go in with a little bit darker, and you can see where the dark shading is already on the DSP, which is really, really good. So I'm just going to use that, and just going to be very careful as I go round. I'm then going to add the Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to pull out. And you get a little bit of shading from the bottom. I quite like that. Okay, this time I'm just going to go in with the Granny Apple Green, and then what I'll probably do is pick up the bottom again with the Garden Green. So yeah, Granny Apple Green first, and then we'll go in with Garden Green. Now I don't need too many of these leaves for what I'm going to be doing today. It's just something quite simple and quick to do, quite quick card to make. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm Helen, and I am pandapops.com on Facebook and Pinterest, and also I have my own website which is still in its infancy, and it's coming along quite nicely, I'm hoping. Yeah, so this will go up on there. I'm planning on uploading it to my Facebook. I'm maybe setting up even a little bit of a YouTube, I don't know yet. So this is all in its infancy, but I'm actually really having fun with the products. I have been a Stampin' Up demonstrator. It will be a year come April, but mainly being what we call a hobby demonstrator. It's nothing that I've been wanting to take forth really and do a lot of classes, but as I say, maybe this year is the year that I want to take it that little bit forward, and I'm, you know, deciding to maybe push myself a little bit more, come out of my comfort zone a little bit more. And actually, if I'm honest, this is the first time I'm using the Stampin' Up Stamp and Write markers, because I always use, they have what we call Stampin' Up, they have blendable pens which are alcohol based, but I wanted to show that you can do an awful lot just with one set of pens and a stamp set and a piece of paper. That was my plan for today's thing. So we're nearly there. Yeah, my colouring's not the best either, I have to say. But you know, we get the gist of what we need to do. Okay, so next part is I'm going to, what we call, fussy cut these out. Trying to avoid the other nice leaves because I might use these at a later time. But I do like how some of these papers lend themselves really, really well for just adding a bit of colour. You could keep it monochrome, and I'm actually going to use a piece of this paper in the background, monochrome, to help pop the leaves out. So yeah, okay, so now again, it doesn't have to be perfect. One thing I like about a homemade card is that it's homemade, and it shows the love that you have put into the thing you're making. It is really, really nice. I've you know, I treasure the cards that I've had which are homemade. I don't know about you, but I still have a box of cards that my children made when they were little. Strange enough, I've not kept the cards that they have sent me, which are shop bought. I have taken, what I do is I tend to take a picture of my cards for birthday, Christmas and what have you, and then I will do a quick entry in my journal. I love journaling. Oh, journaling is fantastic. So yeah, so I put those pictures in my journal to remember, you know, it's because some of the cards that they pick out I'm not going to keep, but you know, the thought and how they've actually gone into choosing those cards is fantastic. You know, you often find that, you know, when the children were little, they bought, you know, really cheap cards, but the sentiment inside would be what I would keep the cards for if I was going to keep them. So yeah, there's lots of there are some wonderful cards that are out there in shops and what have you, but I do prefer a handmade card. I'm doing this very quickly. I would normally take a little bit more time just to ensure that everything is cut perfectly. But I'm doing this quickly because I don't really want this video to be massively long and boring for the rest of you. So, yeah. When I post this video up, let me know in the comments whether you already use Stampin' Up products or you're an avid stamper or crafter. You know, if you want to get in contact with me, just send me a message on Facebook. As I say, it's pandrapops.com. And my tagline is creating joyful moments. I'm also on Pinterest again. Pinterest is in its infancy, getting that all up and running and sorted. But yeah, take a look at their website, which is pandrapops.com, and it's just, yeah, hopefully in the coming months it will turn into something which is has tutorials on it. It has ideas on card making, scrapbooking, journaling, all that sort of thing. Yeah. So the scissors I'm using are Stampin' Up scissors, snips, and I have to say, after, you know, joining Stampin' Up and going, I don't need to buy the scissors. I really don't, you know, you have a starter kit, which currently is £99. And for that, I think you get around about £150 worth of product that you can choose. You don't get you know, it's your choice what you choose. I chose not to get the snips when I joined Stampin' Up because I had scissors. You know, I've been a crafter for a while. You know, I had scissors and it was great. They work brilliantly. But I have to say, snips are in a league of their own. They are so easy to use. I love the really sharp point. You can really get in, you know, get in close. Yeah. And they're actually really quite comfortable in your hand. Now, I'm a left-hander, and currently snips are, as you can see, used both ways. I tend to, excuse me, I tend to use things right-handedly, but obviously my scissors are in my left hand and they still work brilliantly. Right, okay, so I have cut out these. Excuse me again. I have a little bit of a cold coming. So I've cut out my leaves, and that was that side of the paper. Now, this is the underside of the paper. I am actually going to use this just for a strip, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to put that to one side as well, and I'm going to bring in my papers that I'm going to be using. So because we're using Berry Burst and Fresh Freesia, I thought I would actually use Berry Burst and Fresh Freesia for the base of my card today. Now, what I'm going to do is we have an A4 piece of card, and I'm just going to make this my base. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, excuse me, I am going to, oh yeah, sorry, I need to tell you about this as well. We have our Stampin' Up paper trimmer, which has a a piece where you can actually score a scorer. That's what I was thinking of, a scorer card. A scoring blade. So we have a scorer and we also have a cutting blade. Okay, let me just move things a little bit. This is why I said mistakes are happening, because not really set up. Okay, so if you have a look at this paper, we measure it out. It is, it's 8.5 inches. So I'm going to score it first, and I'm going to score it at 4 2/8 is where I'm going to score it, I think. Is that what I'm going to do? Let me just double check. Yeah, it's 8 1/4, not 8.5, sorry. So I'm going to score it at 4 2/8. Good if I had a blade in. Okay, so I'm scoring it first because this is going to make 2 card bases. Okay, so, and then this card measures around about 12, just over 11, or nearly 11 3/4. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it at 11. Cut it down at 11. And I'm going to keep that because we always keep our scraps. And then I'm going to cut it down at 5 1/2. So this will make 2 card bases. Brilliant. So I have 2 card bases. Fantastic. So just put those again to one side, and I'm going to bring in my Fresh Freesia, if I remember rightly. Okay, so I want this to be around about 1/4 inch in, just to, you know, so the Berry Burst pops from behind it. So I know that my card was 4 2/8, sorry. I'm now going to take it down by 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go to 3 7/8. I think that is right. Yeah, 3 7/8. Okay. And I'm just going to cut a piece. Okay, put that to one side. And then this one, we knew it was 5 1/2, so I'm taking that down to 5 1/4. And we'll see, hopefully, that it fits. Oh, perfect. So that's what I wanted. I wanted it to sit so we have the same edge all around. That, yeah, when I centre it properly, it will be. Yeah, I think I've done that wrong, actually. See, this is what we're saying about, you know, let's have another go at that. So let's double check my measurements. First of all, I'm going to, before I do anything, oh, lost my bone folder. What have I done with my bone folder? There it is. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, now, so double check what it is. Yep, it's 4 1/8 by 5 1/2. So, what did I do this one? I need this to be that, yep, which is perfect, and I need this to be 3 on there, and it's pretty much on there, so I'm not 100% sure why it doesn't look 100%. Let's just ensure that is correct, and let's run through the trimmer again. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to take a tiny bit off. Put it the right way would be good. Oh, dear me, today is not going to be my day. That's right. Okay, so no, I'm going to actually leave it. It is what it is. Sometimes you have these moments. I'm just going to leave it. Okay, so I'm now going to bring in my white card, which is Stampin' Up's Basic White, and I'm going to cut this down as well. So I'm actually going to take this down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to take it down to another 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to take it down just to here, which is 3 5/8. Okay, and then because I took that down to 5, and I'm going to take it down to 5. Okay, right, so when we laid that on top, yeah, happy with that. Okay, perfect. So we've got our card bases cut out. What's next? We've got our leaves coloured, card bases cut out. Oh, what I'm actually going to do is, out of some Granny Apple Green card, I'm going to use Bow Punch, which is a retired product from Stampin' Up, unfortunately, as far as I can remember. And I'm just going to punch a couple of those out, just to give a little bit of extra depth. And then I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green just to put a little bit of shading. That's what I wanted to do. In the bottom. And then I'm going to take my Granny Apple Green and go on top. So this is Garden Green. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to make these stems stand out a little bit. Again, darker at the bottom. Okay. Add my Granny Apple Green, which will make these pop. It just adds an extra little bit of dimension to the leaves. These are going to be hidden behind my sentiment mainly, but I just wanted to see whether this is so this is new for me, using these on top of the card. I'm actually quite liking the effect we're getting. If I just take it down a little bit more, that's it, perfect. Right, okay, and then I'm actually going to do the same, I think, on this one. If you notice, I've got a piece of paper underneath. I could go straight onto the glass mat, but I prefer having a piece of paper. It's just easier for me to tidy up. I know it's not the best when it comes to the environment, but I do use this. I put a clean piece down, but you should see the one that I've got currently on the go for all my other crafting things. It literally is falling apart before I will get rid of it, and then it goes into the recycling bin anyway. But I try my best to. I'm just going to pick up that bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then just go in again. And then I'm happy with that. Right, okay. So those are my little embellishments. Next thing we need to do is think about what we're actually going to put on our card. And also how we're going to arrange the paper. So I'm going to get my stamps ready. And before I do that, I'm going to actually cut a little bit of the paper. Now I'm going to use both sides of the paper for this because I quite like the idea of utilising as much as possible. So I'm actually going to just cut an inch off of here. Make sure to line it up. Right, okay, so I have my inch strip. And I'm going to use both sides. So if we look at our card base, and if we measure this again, so we were at 5 and 3 and 3 and 5/8 this one. So I'm going to actually cut my paper at 5 because I want the strip going across the bottom. So this is going to be my strip across the bottom, and I am going to do a little bit of shading on it just to pick up the green, or maybe a little bit of pink, and this is going to be layering on top. But this one I'm going to actually cut down to 4, and then I also have this small 3-piece. Okay, so that's going to layer on top. And I might actually layer this slightly underneath as well. I haven't decided yet. Let's have a play, see what happens. Sorry. Okay, so we can put that away for now. I think we have just about everything. I'm now also going to quickly run and get a couple of ink pads because I want to just pick up something. Right, I'm back. I've also got some water as well. Okay, so before I do anything, what I am going to do is I'm just going to pick up a little bit of the green because we're going to use predominantly, we're going to be using the pinks for the flowers. So I've got Granny Apple Green and I've got some Garden Green. Okay, now I've got my Garden Green, but what I do is I'm going to pick up a little bit of ink. You see how it's quite dark? I'm going to take quite a bit of that dark off. And I'm just going to pick up around the edges of the paper. So I start from the outside and I'm just going in. Okay, I'm happy with that. That just picks up a little bit. I'm then going to do the same thing. And I know this is definite no-no. I'm just going to try and get as much green off as possible. I'm going to pick up my Granny Apple Green. See how it's gorgeous. I love this Granny Apple Green again. Mostly take it off. And I'm going in from the outside and then onto it, which just picks it up. Now, for something a little bit different, I know my brush, if you can see it, says Real Red on it. Move those out of the way for now. So it says Real Red, but I'm actually going to use it for my fresh freezer. So I'm just going to, again, get as much off as possible before I do pick up my fresh freezer. I think I've probably actually used this one for the fresh freezer anyway. So again, same thing. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of that pink, but I'm actually going to go a little bit darker as well on the edges. So I'm going to come in a little bit darker around the edge, especially at those corners. Okay, quite happy with that. Okay. Right. Yeah, happy with that. Okay. So, we also need our sentiments. Now, I'm one of those people who will often, I'll stamp straight onto the card and then realise I've made an absolute mess of it. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to layer things out where I want them, and then I'm going to work out where I want to stamp those flowers from the She's the Greatest, these flowers here, where I want to stamp them on there. So if I just lay these out where I think I want them. Okay, I think that's okay. I'm going to come in with that one there. I think I might actually, yeah, just stagger it a little bit. So I might actually only have a little bit of the pink showing. And then underneath there. Okay. So what I'm thinking is my sentiment's probably going to go here. Oh, I've managed to, how I've done that I do not know, but I've managed to get colour on my card. Right, okay, let's turn it over. Okay, so I think sentiment's definitely going to go this corner here. I'm going to layer that on top there. And I'm going to just shove that one under there. So it still picks up quite, you know, a large lot. Right, okay, so let's get the stamp out, work out what I'm going to be doing with the stamps. Now, when you get a new stamp, it's always best to clean it off. I have a little chamois thing, which I actually bought a 5-pack of these from Lidl. And Stampin' Up do one which is absolutely fantastic. But I actually ran out of mine. The one I had was just on its last legs. So I decided to see what, when I went shopping, to see what it had, and they actually had that. So I thought I'd give it a go, and it works just as well. It's got bobbles on it, but you know, it is what it is. Right, what I'm going to do is, and it's not smooth. I don't think I can get my words out this morning. Right, okay, so this is our multi-liquid glue, and it's Tombow, and it is the best thing on the planet for gluing and sticking as far as I'm concerned, because it lets you move things about a little bit. It's slightly tacky, and it gives you some leeway when you put something down to say, oh, actually, is that working? Yeah, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm not 100% on this being a square at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in with my paper snips, and I'm going to sort of eyeball up the middle, and I'm going to go in the corner, and I'm just going to go and snip. And same again from this corner. I'm going to snip and see how I like that. Yeah, much preferable. Like that better. Yeah. That's very much preferable. Like it. Okay. Just taking the edge off a little bit. Okay, so let's add this. Normally I wouldn't put everything together, but you know what? Because I'm just winging this morning on this card making block, I have to be honest with you, some of my best cards are just made by winging it. I'm going to layer that there, possibly a little bit lower, I think. Yep, lower it down. Yeah, this is why it's so ideal to have this particular glue. I'm just seeing, okay, it's probably not the straightest, but you know what? I'm not worrying about it. Okay, so, and then I'm going to layer my last piece on the top. I'm probably putting way too much glue on that, more than I need. Yeah. I'm just going to stagger that one over there. So we get to pick up the colours that we're using. That is definitely not straight. That is better. Okay, perfect. Right, well, it's not perfect, but it is what it is. It's perfect for me. Right, okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp some of my flowers. Now, I'm actually going to use a Versaclair ink rather than the Memento. It is my favourite ink currently for stamping. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a few little test. Where's my thing suddenly? Oh, it's because it's under there. Okay, I was trying to work out why this was wobbling. Why is my thing wobbling? What is underneath it? What have I got stuck? Nothing, it's just my table by the looks of it. Okay, it is my table. Okay. Right, not ideal when you're stamping, but here we go. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to give that another... So we just need a quick dab, on it goes. Okay. So what I want is I want to pick up some of this monochrome on a few of these. And I'm just going to go in with a second impression. Oh, that didn't work very well, did it? You know what, we can cover that. That's absolutely fine. Okay, second impression. Let's go in the corner here. That's better. Second impression. Let's pick this up a little bit here. That's better. Okay. Second impression, and I'm going to go down here this time. So you're essentially making your own background with this stamp. It doesn't matter if you're slightly overlapping either. Right, okay. I quite like that. Yeah, it's a bit, in this corner, but you know what? We'll pick it out with the pens, it'll be absolutely fine. So I'm now going to come in and I'm going to pick out some of these. And I'm actually going to pick up the one which didn't stamp the best, because I can see pretty much where it should be. Okay. So I'm just picking up that one. I think I'll pick up this one. I'm not picking up all of them. I just think there is, to echo the monochromeness almost of the paper, I think we need to keep some just black and white. But, as I say, let me know in the comments what you think, because we're going to do lots of layering on top with different things, with our bits we've cut out and what have you. Okay, so I've done that, and I'm going to just use that fresh freezer to go in the middle. And I'm also going to just pick up one of the flowers in fresh freezer, I think, as well. Which should be this one here. So as you can see, I've used two different nibs. These pens have two different nib sizes. They have a brush and they also have a fine nib. As I said before, first time I'm working with them, so this is new to me as well. It's all very interesting how these are working, and I'm really quite enjoying it. Do I want a little bit of shading? I think possibly. A little bit of shading. I'm actually going to make that one come down a little bit more. And bring that into there. So we've got a little bit, yeah, that's a bit better. Right, okay, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to quickly do the middles in the berry burst. Okay. Right, the rest I'm going to actually leave. I quite like just that picking up those bits. Right, okay, so we are going to now stamp our sentiment, which is going to go on, but I'm going to layer the sentiment as well. So let's have a quick look. Let's clean this before I put it back though, because I think it will need cleaning. And actually, I think I might pick up a few of the leaves out with the granny apple green and garden green as well, just to make it, see if that might pop a little bit more. So I'm just putting these back. Yeah, make sure I put it in there. Never put them back in the right place. Right, okay. So let's have a look at the front. Which one do I want? I think I'm just going to pick up World's Greatest Mum. So, World's Greatest. Get that out. And then Mum. Right, let's go back quickly to this bit and let's just see if I'm right in picking out a little bit of these flowers. It could all go wrong. Let's just, maybe not on the actual ones that I've done. Let's just see what happens if I pick up a little bit green, maybe here. But leave the flower. I'm not doing loads on it, I'm just... I quite like that effect. Again, let me know what you think. Swirling, I don't actually know how much of this we are actually going to get to see, but let's play. Play is my favourite word when I've been doing any kind of crafting. It is, I've been playing with, and I just, you know, I do play, and oh, I don't know about anybody else, but if you are a crafter and you've been crafting for some time, when you just play, you can zone out completely. I often will sit in our living room, TV will be on, hubby will be doing, you know, watching TV or what have you. I'm just playing. And by the end of the night, I've either made something which I absolutely love, or I think, ugh, right, well, that's not worked. But you know what? I've had so much fun. It's so relaxing. Yeah. So let's have a look at these then. Let's stamp our sentiments. So we have our Stampin' Up blocks, and the big thing about these is that they have a ridge, and I love being able to grasp. I have arthritis in my hands, and I suffer from something called fibromyalgia. But been able to have this grip makes it so much easier for me. Yeah, there are times when I do that. I'll still drop it because that's just how I am. I am very clumsy. Yeah. You know what? I'm trying to work out, shall I do the Mum in Fresh Freesia? I think I will. World's Greatest, I think, in black. Mum in Fresh Freesia. Yeah, so as I say, those stamping blocks are great. They are a little bit heavy. Especially the very, very large ones. And sometimes you do need to have two hands. But, you know what I haven't done? I haven't cleaned my stamp. Not a sensible thing. I need to clean my stamp before I use it. First time using it, need to clean the stamp. Need to clean the stamp. Okay. Right, okay. Let's try again. Now, this has got a little bit of texture on it. I wonder whether I can actually colour it in with the pens and get it to, you know what, I think I am. I think I'm going to colour it with the pens with both pens and get hopefully an ombre effect. Let's have a look. Let's see what we can do. See, doing this on the fly. This is the sort of thing I do in an evening. Not really made my mind of what I'm doing. I know what stamp set I'm going to use, but I've got no clue actually how I'm going to use it. I just pick some things out and hope for the best. Right, okay, and then we'll see what happens. I'm going to actually stamp this on the card and just see. Okay, let's see what happens. I've blended that slightly. Let's have a look. See what kind of effect we get. Oh, you know what? I actually really quite like that. I do really quite like that. Right, let's have another go. See if I can, let's do the M's in the Berry Burst. Just layering it up. I quite like the mottled effect that we get with the stamp. That's not very clever, I didn't pick up that bit. Right, and let's go in with the Fresh Fuchsia for the U. Okay, let's do this one and decide which one we're actually going to use. Oh, now I'm torn. You know what, I'm going to have to do it again. I'm going to have to do it again because I'm torn. I quite like the one we did at the bottom. I'm just going to try a different way around. Okay. Obviously, if you pick up any of the other one, you just, because they're water-based, you would just, and it goes back to the normal colour. Right, okay, let's have one last go at this, see what we think. Oh, not a fan of the fact that I managed to get lines in there. I actually do prefer the bottom one. I think it will have to be the bottom one. Right, okay. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out. As I say, fussy cut, I'm just going to go around it. And cut it out. But then I'm just going to quickly so I think that's probably the bottom bit. Okay. And then leave a little bit of white. So I hope everybody's week has been good. As I say, it's Saturday. I do work throughout the week. But I make sure that I get some crafting in each day if possible. Luckily, I say luckily, my children are grown up now. Yes, I have 2 grown-up children in their mid-20s. So I don't have to do the whole mum run, school runs, you know, all the after-school clubs and things anymore. Yeah, so that does free up quite a lot of my time, which is quite good. Would I like to be able to spend all day, every day crafting? Yes. Yes, I would, because I absolutely am in my zone when I craft. I have to be brutally honest with you though. I used to be. I've done all sorts of crafting, throughout my time. And my dear father-in-law, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, used to call me a butterfly because I'd flicked from one thing to the next and I wouldn't be able to focus on anything for too long. Now, I think that's probably due to the fact that I have a mind that is all over the place a lot of the time. I daydream. I do a lot of, yeah, my mind just goes all over the place. Excuse me. And I wasn't able to focus on anything for too long at all. But strange enough, this has lasted, as I say, almost a year doing this, and my passion for it is actually growing. In lockdown, I got a Cricut machine. And that was great during lockdown. You know, I created lots of things, helped out, you know, it was really lovely to use the Cricut machine and what have you. My poor Cricut machine is now languishing in a cupboard. It doesn't get used. It should do, because there are some things that you could do with, I could team up with all the Stampin' Up things to use, and that would be really good. Yeah, but Cricut machines, what else have I done? Oh, I did a lot of scrapbooking in the past. I have cupboards full of scrapbooking paper. Again, which is, you know, not great. I'm now successfully filling my dining room, which was, until my husband retired, his office, but it's now my craft room. Strange enough though, I don't actually use it a lot of the time. I do it when you know, this is the first time I've actually used it to craft since I've organised it. As I say, it tends to be all in my living room in an evening with my lovely hubby. Okay, lovely. I'm just gonna do a couple of these. Okay, that's fine, brilliant. Okay, so I'm now going to fussy cut this out as well, and then I'm going to layer it onto some paper. Yeah, I mean, as you can see, when I've been talking, I can talk for England, and obviously my mind does go all over the place. Yeah, unfortunately it is what it is. Yeah, it's just me. I'm just gonna cut in just like I did before. Actually, I've just cut that too small, but never mind. Being too quick, not taking my time. You know what, I'm happy. I'm happy. Okay, so we now come to the part which one we're going to use, and we're now going to start finishing up our card. Let me just clean this stamp and put it back in, because I am terrible. I don't know about anybody else out there who has stamps. I am absolutely terrible for not putting them back, and then I keep finding stamps and then I have no clue which stamp set they go into. Yeah, so with this one, unfortunately, you are going to have to wait until March for this particular stamp set and the paper, because it is our online exclusive, which come out at the beginning of March. Yeah, but I just wanted to see what I could come up with. I got them yesterday. I don't intend to order everything that comes in the online exclusives, mainly because I don't have the funds. I pick things that I love and I know I'm going to use. Yeah, so that is the way I look at it. Right, now I have just realised though that I have forgotten my dimensionals, which we need. So just give me a moment again, sorry. Hi, I'm back. So when it comes to adhesives with Stampin' Up, yeah, they have Stampin' Seal. Now this is the Stampin' Seal Plus, so this is the permanent one, and if you stick something down with this, it is not going to move, so don't try and then pull it up. Yeah, but they do have two. They have a Stampin' Seal and a Stampin' Seal Plus. That's a Stampin' Seal Plus. Stampin' Seal, you can, if you're very careful, take things off. It's good for just adhering cards to it. Yeah, but I tend to, my favourite tends to be the glue, but we also have what we call Stampin' Up Dimensionals, which is really, really good for if you want to give a bit of pop. So now we're at this point where we are going to start layering. Okay. You know what? I don't know if I'm actually going to use the ones from the Bow Punch. We will see what it looks like when I've added everything together. Possibly. Right, okay, so I have to decide now which one I'm going to use, and I think I'm going to go for that one. World's Greatest Mom, and let's put the World's Greatest on, and I think we're going to put that up here over the top. World's Greatest Mum. Now, we have a little bit of space here, don't we? Which I said we're going to put the sentiment in. I'm actually going to get my stamp out and I'm going to stamp in this corner, because otherwise I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to look at it and go, no, don't like that. Okay, let's get my stamp out again on my ink. Stamp it off. Let's do it that way. I didn't stamp it off. Oh, you've just got to work out sometimes where my brain is. Because it obviously is not stamping at the moment. Nope, not at all. Okay, right. I'm relatively happy I filled in that gap now. It does look a bit odd. I'm very, very sorry. I probably, you know, if I look at the card, I probably thought, no, I'm going to have to redo it, but I'm actually going to just go with the flow. Right, okay. Put that there. I think. Put that there. And then we're going to pick up a little bit of these just here. What are we thinking? Should I get my brain to actually work? That would be handy, wouldn't it? Or do we have this over here? Do we have these in this corner? I like the World's Greatest being up here. I might have to do some more fussy cutting, but we'll see. I do like this layering though. Right, okay, let's stick World's Greatest down and then let's work from there. I'm just going to use my take a pick tool and stick on my dimensionals. Right, okay. I'm going to take the tops off. Yeah, you'll find if you use dimensionals, you'll be sat one day and you'll be going, what's that white little hexagon doing? This will make you laugh. I actually went on holiday, can you believe it? And the first day I went in the pool, I found a dimensional. Yeah, it'd been stuck to my bum. I'd had a shower and yeah, it's still don't know how it managed to, yeah, get where I didn't want it to be. I'm now a bit of a quandary. I do like that there though, and I'm going to lift that up with dimensionals as well. Okay. We do bigger ones. These are the little ones. If you're going to use, you know, if you've got a bigger project, you would use the bigger ones. But I actually, my preference is the small ones. Yeah. Okay. I am actually just going to put that, lift it up. There. Okay. Right, so next bit. Where do I put my lovely leaves? And I think I'm actually just going to put them here. And you know what? I think I might actually stamp the flower again and cut the flower out and just put it there. That is the plan. Right, okay. New plan, people. New plan. Okay, let's stamp this flower again. Where's my spare piece of paper? I'm actually going to do it at its full colour. Okay. See how things evolve quite nicely when we're doing this. Okay. Put that away now. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to colour it in fresh freesia. Yeah, not petunia pop, fresh freesia. Okay, with a bit of the berry burst in the middle. Let's just go and add a little bit of extra round. Okay, pick it up a little bit. Okay, you can colour these however you like. So let's just quickly fussy cut that out, and then we'll finally adhere everything to the front of the card. Oh yeah, also, I'm a very messy crafter. Very messy crafter. I do have to own up to the fact that I'm not even going to show you my floor currently. There is bits of card, dimensional bits all over. Yeah. Luckily, as my hubby has retired now, I don't have to do the cleaning anymore, which is a really nice thing, because I figured if I work all day, it's not my job to clean. It is someone else's job to clean now. I still cook, because if I'm brutally honest, if I didn't cook, we would end up with cheese toasties or pasta every night for tea. That's about the repertoire of my husband. So, or we'd end up with takeaways, which is not good for anybody's waistline. So yeah, so I tend to cook. But I have to say, my wonderful son has also decided to start cooking at the ripe old age of 27, and is now becoming a bit of a whiz seasoning chicken. So for Christmas, one of the things he got was some spiced seasoning, and he's been loving experimenting with that. And we've been really enjoying tasting everything he's been creating. Right, okay, I think we are ready. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just stick part of this down with some glue. I'm not going to stick the whole thing down because I want a little bit of movement. Okay, so I'm going to stick that there. Move that out of the way. So a little bit of movement, which is what we want. And I'm going to do the same here. So we're just going to put a little bit, don't know why I keep putting the, it's a habit of getting into putting the lid back on the glue straight away. Oh, okay. That's that one, and for this one I'm actually going to put and the I think I'm actually going to use my silicone mat. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. It's just easier to use. Perfect. And put that there. And for my flower, pick a little bit up, and I'm going to put that there. Right, okay. I'm not liking where that's sat because it's directly above the other one. So I'm going to it didn't work that very well, did I? Let's click. The good thing about this is I can pick it up and move it. That's better. Right, okay, that is better. Okay, so we have, and I'm not actually going to, am I going to use these as an extra? Oh, no, I don't think so. I'm not actually going to use those. I just think it would be too much. Right, okay, so one last thing before we glue it all together and do the inside is I'm just going to step away for a sec, and I'm going to get some four-dimensional, little adhesives. Right, so we currently have a thing, depending on when you're watching this, it is February and we still have Celebration going on with Stampin' Up, and one of the freebies you could get was, or two of the freebies you could get with one of these butterflies, and also these really lovely sequins, adhesive back sequins. So we're going to use a few of these and maybe one of the butterflies. Now I'm just going to have a putty bit here, and I'm just going to decide which ones we're going to choose. Quite like those ones, I think. Right, okay, so I'm going to actually put those on there. Put the small ones on the flowers. Pick up that one and that one, and it just gives a little bit of bling. That didn't go down very well, did it? Yeah, Stampin' Up tool has this adhesive bit on the end, and it is just brilliant for doing this type of thing, picking them up and putting them down. Right, okay, so we have a little bit of bling. Do we need any more bling? Are we going to put a butterfly? I think, you know what, we are going to put a butterfly. Is it overkill? Possibly. Let's just see. Right, okay, let's just see what it is. What happens when we put a couple of butterflies on? Let's put the... Oh, I like it. Okay, and then let's put a small one just over here. Pretty. And another small one just down here. Right, okay, I think that just finishes it off. I hope you agree. Yeah, I quite like it. I as I say, I love to experiment. I'm a bit messy. Would I do this differently? Yeah, I would possibly actually, instead of the black for the flowers, I would maybe pick up in oh, just got a rogue butterfly come off. Let's just put that somewhere then, up here maybe. Yeah, so we oh, completely lost my train of thought. Never mind. Yeah, as I say, I have now got it back. Good, thank goodness. I would have maybe picked out in a green the flowers, but I do quite like the monochrome. Is it too much? Possibly. When you've got all this, it might be slightly messy. Right, now we have to then build our card, obviously, to put in the middle. Right, so in order for us to be able to move it around, I'm just going to use our green glue. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just line this up at the bottom. I hope you can see and you're not just seeing my head. Okay, and I'm going to try and line this up to have it how I want it. Okay. Okay, pretty much there, I think. Right, okay, and then we've got the stick it on the main card. And then the last thing we need to do is do the sentiment in the middle of the card, which again, we will use the white, basic white card. It's probably the best thing to do. So again, let's just make sure it's centered. Sorry if my head does get in the way. Yeah, I'm still not 100% on this, my measurements, but there we go. Okay. Okay, I'm reasonably happy is what I'm going to say. Reasonably happy with that. Okay, I'm just rubbing the glue off my fingers. That's all that noise was. Right, so now we need to bring back in our, so we need to do our sentiment in the middle. And this is where we can add a little bit extra zhuzh if you want it to. So let's cut our card. So I am going to cut it at, let's have a think, slightly too short. Okay, that's probably okay. Right, okay, so I'll cut it at 5. And I'm going to cut it at 1. So I'm going to cut it there. Okay. I will put the measurements down underneath the video or on Facebook to let you know what measurements I used. So this should now fit nicely with a nice border. Yeah, perfectly there. Right, okay. So this is where we decide whether we're making a birthday or Mother's Day. Now, I think I'm actually going to make it birthday. Using the With You in Mind from the 2025 January to April mini catalogue that we have out currently. Okay, so I'm actually going to use the happy birthday, and I am going to, that's not the way to get a stamp off, by the way. That was really badly done. It will just fit on there. Perfect. Right, okay. So I am actually going to get the Berry Burst, if I have it. If we get Berry Burst, stamping ink. Oh, actually, no, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm actually going to do what we did the last time. I'm going to use the two Stampin' Up markers. Is what I'm going to do. Let's just, obviously we're going to test it before we do it. So we'll test it and then we'll re-ink it. Yeah. Okay, so let's get our test piece and let's have a look. Do I like it? Would I prefer it all in one colour? I think I actually prefer just the fresh freesia. Right, okay, so let's clean that off. And then if I can get all of it up, and then let's just use the fresh freesia. I think I prefer the fresh freesia. On its own. But yeah, again, this means, you know, if you get the Stampin' Right markers, it means that you can be colouring in your stamp sets and what have you, and you don't need the ink pads. You can just use your Stampin' Right markers. You're not going to get as crisp an image, but I think you know, economy wise, I think it's not a bad idea. Right, okay, so let's ensure that this is straight, and you're going to get my head in the way again, sorry. Okay, straight. And now let's do this. Okay, am I happy with that? Probably not. Not the best. Right, okay. So, you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually going to do it in black, just so we get to finish our card. I should be taking a lot longer time to do this properly, but I'm not, which is not good. Not good. Okay. Right, okay, so I'm just going to... Okay, much better. Happier with that. Absolutely happier with that. Okay. So let's now just stick that to the middle of our card. Okay. Good thing about it is if you make a mistake on one side, you can always turn it over. Okay. Just to ensure that I've got that centered relatively so. Yeah, happy with that. Okay, so we've cut off our little strip before. Okay, so I'm actually going to just snip that little strip, which is our inch, and I'm just going to put it there, and I'm going to now just trim a little bit more of our paper. So let me just ensure. Okay, so I'm actually going to go 1/2 inch just to ensure that's okay. 1/2 inch. Let's just see where that sits. Yeah, happy with that. Okay, so got our card. I'm going to just stick this, but I'm actually going to trim it a little bit. Let's just trim a little bit off the end there. And I'm also going to do our little flag. Okay. And then I'm going to make sure we stick this So I'm actually going to put that on there first. Stick it down and then trim it. Move that out of the way. Okay, we're nearly done. Sorry guys, this has been a very, very long video, but we are nearly done. I think I am not happy with the placement, but it will move slightly for me because of the glue, which is good. Trim that off. Okay. Now I'm going to stick that down. Too much glue. Oh, too much glue. So what have I done with my silicone mat? Here it is. So too much glue. So if you ever get too much glue, you can always just put it on your silicone mat, pull it off, and then you can put it on. Okay. Stick that down. It just adds a little extra something on the inside of the card to pick up what's on the outside. Okay, so what do we think? I apologise for the extra long video, and I also, lots of mistakes on the way, but we got through it all. Am I happy? I'm actually quite happy with that. Yeah, I'm actually very happy, not just quite happy, very happy with that. Yeah, it'd make a great birthday card for Mum. And I think, you know what it'll end up being? It will end up being my birthday card, because it is my birthday coming up, so I think one of my children will probably use that as their birthday card for me. Yeah. Right, okay, well, thank you ever so much for joining me. Remember, I'm pandrapops.com, creating joyful moments. It has been a joy for me to create this morning. Yeah, okay. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.